do. Anyways, hi, I'm Karl. I'm with a company called Through Learning Glass LLC. We go by TLG because we've outgrown that moniker, if you will, which created many, many years ago. I come from the exhibit design and build discipline, if you will, for museums and zoos. And I have a lot of experience there. But what we've done in the last few years is we've decided that that's a sort of an industry that's sort of leveled off. We have a lot of skilled, really highly skilled trades that are very committed to what they do. And we decided to take that into the commercial realm, commercial residential. So what does that mean? Well, I'll kind of explain. This is Dave. Dave's already back over here somewhere. I thought that was a great shot. I just love that shot. I've had that for a few years. He's working on a museum in Greenville, Michigan, historical museum, but it's the same as furniture design and build. Countertops, tables, cabinetry, glazing. We'll get to that. But the whole presentation today is how many of you as designers have a nightmare story of working with a contractor? Anybody? I know there's I'm not really going to go there because my wife, I was putting this PowerPoint together, she's over my shoulder and she looks and she goes, that's very negative. So, well, have you ever worked with a contractor? And I said, how many weeks late am I on your fence? At home, it's like the shoemaker, someone without any shoes, right? And that sort of thing. Anyways, we are a design build company from A to Z. As a matter of fact, we have so many different capabilities, it's almost hard to enumerate them. So we do welding, we do glazing, we do fine woodworking, cabinetry, sculpture at times. We work in all different kinds of mediums that you can think of. We're sort of a one-stop shop. And the really nice thing about our woodworking is that we actually have a sawmill, so we actually cut our own wood. So, so we really kind of cover the full gamut, if you will. So that's who we are. Oh, yeah, well, how do you know what you're talking about? Well, I've been in the business for about 35 years. I'm the old man of the group. A lot of my guys and partners are much younger than I am, much more energetic. And if you look at the background here, I mean, I like the bench. The bench is cool. That was designed by Priscilla Lloyd, who's one of our designers, fabulous designer. We stole the leg design. It might not be everybody's taste, but we stole the leg design from Cranbrook Columns, Cranbrook Institute of Science. That's L.L. Saarinen. So that's his design. So I can't argue with that too much. It was her inspiration, though. Our offices are located on the 3rd floor of Cranbrook Institute of Science. We're primarily their contractor of choice for building and designing exhibits. And we've kind of spread out through the entire campus. We do a lot for the educational community there as well, art museum occasionally. So our offices are located there. We also have facilities in Pontiac, Auburn Hills area. We have a manufacturing facility there. Some of our clients include, obviously, Cranbrook, Belle Isle Aquarium, Detroit Zoological Society. We built the Detroit Zoo Penguinarium, but I didn't cause the leak. The drill slipped a little bit. But anyways, we built all the interior exhibitry and the walls that look like an old sailing ship and the stamped concrete floor and all that stuff. We did all that. We currently we're working on Book Cadillac renovation, the Book Mansion. So a variety of we go all the way to Saugatuck Douglas, and I'm now working in Indiana as well, South Bend Chocolate Company and the Indiana Dinosaur Museum. What does this mean to you as a designer? All of that energy, all of those strengths, all of the design fabrication capabilities for those clients who are very exceptional, very demanding, very quality-oriented clients, we can bring to you. I won't charge you the same. Okay, I'm trying not to. Okay, so one of the things, a lot of the phone calls that I handle from designers, and we're seeking to work with architects, interior designers, interior decorators, design firms, even artists. We have a whole gamut of people that we work with. And so we should appeal to you. And I would like to talk to you. So if you have any questions, I mean, I'd like to talk all things design. I fancy myself a designer. Okay, so I'm sort of in your corner. And when I have my guys, they're more trades oriented. They appreciate good design, but we also have designers on staff. So we do design and we do fabricate to the design. So we understand the process fully. I understand what it feels like to be a designer trying to work with the trades. Do you guys not bust my chops all the time? Like, what do you want me to do with that drawing, right? We cannot hear that all the time. We do. One of the things that I constantly deal with, though, and this is a little bit a lot of times I get a call like, hey, do you guys do slab tables? Yeah. Live edge? Yeah. Well, I saw this one on Etsy for $150. Yeah, I can't beat that. So if you guys, come across a design that you want to have fabricated and you find something on Etsy or IKEA or even Amazon, I'm not going to lie to you. I may have you send me the link and I'll look at it and I'll go, yeah, we probably can't beat that. That's a good deal. You should do that. So we do that. But there's a great dependence on like Etsy. And I will tell you that a lot of times quality becomes an issue. Even in our own shop, we were doing a slab table and we moved it from one location to another to prepare it to go to final delivery. And the difference between temperature and humidity actually raises the grain on a finished table. So we had to scramble, get out the sanders, sand the whole top back off, and then reseal it because it acclimated, and that can happen. So it's not necessarily a quality issue, it's a nature issue. But we have to, underwrite that. A lot of times you get something from Etsy and, the pictures always look better. Okay. And we bought things from Etsy. We bought things from Amazon. We bought legs from Etsy and we've sent them back. We look at the steel welds and go, that doesn't look like the picture, send it back. So we've done that. And then we pay twice as much for it. This is some of our work. This is at Cranbrook. That's in the director's office. They were going to buy a table, a slab from, I think, IKEA. And then they were going to buy metal legs and put it together themselves. And they approached me and said, can you do something a little bit more creative? So this is what we came up with, a river table. You see these all over the place. They're done custom. You can buy these all day long and twice on Sunday on Etsy, Amazon. You could probably buy smaller coffee table size ones, not necessarily boardroom tables. They do exist, but the quality differences are just crazy. And we milled all that ourselves. That's a tree that was cut down in Royal Oak. That's what is that? That's a walnut, right? Yeah, walnut. So is your project big enough? Well, you might have a lamp that you want done, and it might be out of a custom material, and it might need some LED trickery. It might need some really nice, lower wattage, energy saving LEDs that are dimmable. We can do that for you. So for example, this is from the book Cadillac. In answer to the question, is your job too small? A lot of designers don't want to call a fabricator because it's probably just too small. It would just be better off. No, call us, talk to us. I mean, I can even just give you free advice, okay? And based on my experience, as best I can. But we actually took, this is at the book mansion, and I was looking for a picture that wouldn't play nice with my presentation material. I couldn't load it on there for whatever reason. It didn't want to recognize a PDF, but I had a rusty version of this. It was all worn away, completely rusted out from about I want to say 1812 was the original. So we took that design, we copied it exactly, and we came up with this powder coated steel and installed it in the lower porch area, a whole series of these. It was a small job, but we did it. It was a architectural preservation project. We had to follow certain guidelines and rules to do that. We could not alter the design. They originally wanted us to repair the rust, and we tried, and it was like, can't weld rust. So we redid the whole thing based on the original design and then popped them in. So no job's too small. Do you get me? Fabricators and builders don't always, get what I'm trying to convey here. I have a gazillion case studies on this for projects that we've done. So just to let you know, this little slide shows that we too are designers. One of my favorite apps on my iPad is Sketchbook Pro. And I love to do digital sketching. Now I grew up on paper. It took forever for me to go and give up paper and go to digital. But once you go digital, and you treat it like paper, it's almost the same thing. So we do all different levels of design. So we do get you as a designer. You can talk to a fabricator that understands the designer's perspective. That's what I do. So for example, a current project we're working on as the Frick residence, they saw a metal awning in Birmingham and they wanted to replicate it. So I'm walking by the people's house doing this, all angles, and walk up to the porch. Oh yeah, I must have dropped something. Anyways, we copied it. And this is one of our fabrication. They were very worried about, they re-sided the entire house for their daughter. It's in Birmingham. It's a lovely residence. It's an old bungalow, but is it going to be able to hold up a metal and copper awning, which is very heavy? Well, of course, because this is the hardware I'm going to use. So we do little spec drawings and tell you what the spec's going to be and what it should be. that sort of thing. We don't get too carried away. We CAD it out too, not just, we use other CAD CAM programs. And then of course there's it sitting on my shelf. It sits today because it's been too cold to install it, but it's getting warmer so we can finally get that up. Outcome and quality. What if the product, like I said to you guys about that table in our own shop where the grain lifted, what happens if, we deliver a table or we deliver a product to you and the grain lifts or there's a glue seam or something got missed? That's a no-brainer. Of course, I'm going to come back and cover it and send you a bill. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to send you a bill. We're going to take care of it at our cost and make sure that it's right, because the bottom line is our name is on it. And if our name's on it, it's going to be done right. And, there's a lot of contractors that way. We work with a lot of other contractors as well. And the ones that we enjoy working with really do a good job of guaranteeing their materials and their quality. This is a really cool, you guys might appreciate this. This is a Japanese mid-century table. I can't remember the name of the artist, Japanese artist. A local interior design company brought this to us. They gave us that inspiration photograph, and then they gave us that CAD drawing. And they said, can you build this table for us? Of course we can. So we did. This is it here. This is how we framed it. And it's, pictures of our little lovely shop, our wood shop area. And then our final product placed in a house called the Lane Lake Residence. And it's a really pretty table. We love it. My wife loved it, which is crazy. But anyways, that's all custom built. Dave and Max back there built that table. And we went through a whole process of guiding the designer through from looking at their, I met with them. They were all very buttoned up. This firm was very buttoned up. We met with them. They sat down, they showed us their inspiration pieces. They gave us color chips. They wanted to match. It happened to be a laminate, so it wasn't a stain. So we had to match the laminate with a stain because we weren't going to build this out of that kind of laminate. That's all wood. So it does have a lam layer, but it is raw wood, very thin veneer. And then it's, what do we use on that, Dave? Do we use solar wax on that? Monocoat? Monocoat finish, really hard wax finish on that. Rigid change orders. This is something else that designers that engage contractors worry about. One minor change. Oh, we got to tweak that color on that stain. Oh man, I'm sorry, it's another $150. No, we don't work like that. If I see a change order coming or I anticipate a change order coming down the pike and I see something in your drawing and I'm going to go, hey, I think this might be a problem node for you guys downline. Just be aware of it and I'll give you plenty of heads up. So nobody likes financial surprises. When you price a project, you price it tight. You got to hit your margin. I realize that. And as a designer, I know that very well. Oh, you want a chamfered edge to go with that stone top after the job was sold. So I've dealt with that myself a lot. So we are not really rigid on our change orders at all, especially if they're minor tweaks or changes, we go with the flow. So we're easy to work with. This is our facility where we weld a lot. Those are fire pits, smokeless fire pits that were done for a client in Farmington Hills. I think Grand Ridge. It's a multi-tenant park, if you will. We do a lot of welding. We do a lot of barrier wall. So if any of you do landscape design at all, we do a lot of Core 10 steel, retaining wall, decorative. So this is one that we only finished recently, so I don't have pretty pictures with grass and it's all finished looking. This is in process. Are we dependable? Yeah. I could be 2 minutes late to a meeting. That's because somebody in front of me, like this morning, is driving 3 miles an hour. But beyond that, we're on time and we care about it. We return phone calls and we care about communication with your client. And we realize that you're under a lot of pressure as well. So we cater to that. This was a project that we did. When did we do Verdi? About 3-4 years ago already. So this is a wealth management firm in Clarkston, a young guy, very dynamic owner, has done very well for himself. Harvard mathematician in the financial realm. Shocking. Really good guy, great firm to work with, one of our favorite clients. And we did a multi-thematic series of boardrooms for them. We did a Tesla room, we did a SpaceX room, we did a Netflix room, Lululemon room. This is their counter. So there it is finished. The other one was an envisioning and SketchUp, I think. This is the actual physical one, replete with their receptionist. And there's one of our designers. So even our designers will work on our install crews. And since Priscilla Lloyd, who's our designer, was instrumental in helping pull this design together, of course, she wanted to be part of the physical team. So we even have our designers that are part of this. We also did a cherry board room that these sections actually fly away. This board, it's a 12-foot long table. It actually flies away into 6 breakout sections. So it slides there on casters. They slide within the boardroom so they can do little breakout meetings. That's kind of fun. We also built the planters, pretty much anything that you see there. And those chairs were bought on Etsy. So on schedule, contractors, don't contractors miss or change deadlines all the time? We do. We change them all the time, right? It happens. So Max over there, we were building a retaining wall and our supplier ran out of 1/4-inch Corten steel sheeting. And you were pacing the floor, Max, for what? 3 days, bugging me, calling me every half hour. It's not here yet. So we care. That's the whole point, is that Max was on, because we promised the deadline and he was waiting for that truck and that truck pulled up and we got to it. But sometimes the truck doesn't come. And if that happens, we let you know well ahead of time if there's going to be a change. Changes do happen. If you change the design slightly and it puts me back a day or two, it's incumbent upon me to say, hey, that just put you back a day or two. So it happens all the time. I won't lie about that. So contractors get a bum rap on that. Sometimes rightly so. Sometimes it's not communicated and the deadline's missed. That's not good. We never do that. That's a big no-no. Communication is key. We try to keep your project on track so that you make your deadline, we make our deadline, everybody's happy. The client doesn't have a reason to try to knock off 10%. Let's face it, that's what happens. This is work we did at the zoo. That's in the Polk Penguinarium. We took old barn beams and cut them to 1/8-inch thick to slat these walls with. And then those are, believe it or not, those are operational portholes that are 33 inches tall total. They weigh about 60 pounds each. And they have to come away so you can get to the video screen behind it that all the little kids think is an actual tank, which has whales and squids and all kinds of cool sea life in it. But anyways, no job's too big because that was a massive job. And we did that job from Ron Kagan had to open that when he was in charge of the zoo. He had an April 16th opening date for the Polk Penguinarium, and it was February, and they were still pouring concrete in the interior. And I said, that ain't gonna happen. It happened. And I saw it happening, and they had crews in there 24/7. And I'm thinking, guys, this is gonna happen. And my guy said, no, it's not gonna happen. There's no way they're gonna make it. He said, they're gonna make it. So we got it done. We opened on the 16th. He had his party. See what happened was the invitations went out 2 years before. Okay, and then the polar vortex happened and they were pouring concrete during the polar vortex. Interesting times. But what's interesting to me is we delivered this, but I think I slept about 3 hours a day for about 4 months. Gave me a heart attack, literally. More of our woodwork. We like to work a lot in walnut, but we work with a lot of rare hardwoods and we cut a lot of it ourselves. We have access to areas and timbermen that can get us really old stuff, 500, 600-year-old trees. Now, do we go whack these trees because they would look lovely at somebody's table? I'm so against that, you have no idea. No, we would never do that. Trees that have to come down because they've died or they're threatening something, they come down and we have access to that. So if you're looking for any kind of, custom slab wood of any sort, that's us. We really specialize in that. We build a lot of benches for places too. That's Johnson Nature Center to the left on Cranbrook grounds. Cost, is it going to be expensive? And I'm not going to be able to make my margins because you guys sound really expensive. Not really. Not really. First thing we do is we look at budget. So plenty of times people will call me and tell me, I only have this much to spend, and I will immediately say, hey, there's this source, and this source. It was great talking to you. Stay in touch. I will absolutely do that. So we can do an exploration there. Usually, though, we're not the most expensive. We're also not the cheapest. If I was the cheapest, I'd be on Etsy doing business all through Etsy. I don't do that. So I think we're highly accessible. and available to you and to give you our knowledge too. Even if it's just come by, come to Cranbrook, have a cup of coffee, we're gonna sit down and get to know you. No charge. Okay, so anyways, also this is our manufacturing facilities. We run full CNC. We have our own kiln, so we actually dry our own lumber, so we know that it's done right. We've bought many slabs early on in the game that we were told were kiln dried correctly, and it turns out they weren't, and it's very expensive to repair that once it's going. This is a gate that just went up. This went up today, didn't it? This morning. This is on Cranbrook Road. It's the Abrams Arbor, we call it. That was a fun one. I tried painting it with a direct to metal product from Sherwin-Williams. Did not work. So it went to powder coat instead, and it got to be powder blasted first, so all that extra. So we do it right. I wasn't gonna let it, I thought it's borderline acceptable. The guy said, absolutely not. So away to the powder coater it went. They powder blasted all my paint that I put on it, and then powder coated it, did it right. So we're very concerned about that as well. Birmingham Village Players, we're building columns for them currently. The design on the right was one that I liked. The one that they selected is the one on the left. Those are ones that I could just snag. We're doing 8 columns in their theater to make it look like they'd always been there from the time period of about the 1930s, you know, when Art Deco was in. So we sort of Art Decoed it. And we totally stole that light. We didn't design that light. It's totally stolen. Anyways, I have cards. We have a booth here. You can see our little scrolling program that's on the big flat screen. You can get our information off that. I have business cards there too. I didn't bring you any Valentine's Day presents. I'm sorry, I completely forgot about it. But by 5 o'clock, my wife will have flowers, so thank you for reminding me. At any rate, we do even really delicate stuff since we do museum exhibitry. So we can do really, really delicate stuff like butterfly displays. So if you can dream it, you can design it, we can build it, and you should talk to us, especially if you have a difficult or unique project. I'm your guy, okay? We're your guys, I should say. Thank you.